Welcome in to episode 27 of our Let's Play Humankind series featuring a Commons Quarter strategy. The game is well in hand, and we have taken our first steps into the final era of our game of Humankind, the contemporary era. We are playing as the Indians. If you need to catch up on any of the action that has happened to lead us up to this moment, in the description below is a link to episode 1 of the series. You can catch up on the entire series, how the Commons Quarter strategy has played out, why we think, or maybe think, the Commons Quarter strategy is or isn't particularly very good, how that's impacted this particular game. All of those things are included in all of the previous episodes. Let's jump into the game and see where the contemporary era will take us as we rapidly approach the end of this series, the end of this game. We are here, of course, once again in our capital city of Ashur. Ashur is building ash ramps. I actually think it might be one of the only cities still building ash ramps. We moved up, 3 or 4 turns? I don't even remember. We didn't get very many turns in the last episode. It's our first time up in the contemporary era, but we were building ash ramps. And again, the ash ramps went in so fast. We have a 50% reduction on commons quarters. We have a 30% reduction on religious districts, and we have a 20% discount on our emblematic quarters currently. And ash ramps hit all of those, I think, for the first time in the game since we had all of those impacted. So obviously that's a ridiculous reduction. It actually adds up to 100% reduction, but it's obviously 50% off, and then it's 30% off of that number, then 20% off of that number, right? So ends up being very, 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 very ridiculously cheap to get ash ramps in. So we got ash ramps going in absolutely everywhere. I believe our capital city is still got 1. Oh, and then let's move this over here. Perfect. Okay, we have 4 left to build in the capital. That's happening in the next 3 turns. And then we have, unfortunately, Teatros still to build in the capital. Capital is still behind. This is just prototypical of a game of Humankind. If you've played, oftentimes your capital city falls behind. We'll probably also, if we go down here, we'll notice like we're drastically behind in infrastructures as well in the capital. This is just how the game kind of plays out. You have to pick and choose what you want to put in as far as districts are concerned. You have to pick and choose what you want to put in as far as infrastructures are concerned. Then you have wonders on top of that and different things, right? So there's definitely a you can't build everything mentality, at least not right away, and at least not in some of your original cities. Now, once you get some of your cities that are more new established, they tend to have a lot of the infrastructures pre-built and things like that. I kind of wish that as the game progressed, the infrastructures from the previous eras, the infrastructure specifically, districts I think work fine, but the infrastructures from previous eras should reduce in cost. I think that even though your production continues to increase, they're still like, well, I'm not going to put those in because I don't need to, right? But then you end up with a city that's really, really far behind in infrastructures. I wish there was like an additional, like if you're 1 era above that particular infrastructure, like where that infrastructure falls on the tech tree, if you're 1 era above that, there's a certain percent off. If you're 2 eras above that, there's a certain percent off. If you're 3 eras above, there's a certain percent off. That way, infrastructures become easier to catch up on the later you go into the game. If you happen to fall behind on them, again, it essentially makes your capital city a liability. Your original couple cities are going to struggle on infrastructures or districts or something more so than your newer cities. And I'm like, part of me thinks like, yeah, that's true. Maybe not. I'm not sure what the realism of that would be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you have thoughts on that particular idea. That one's not a big, important idea that I think Amplitude needs to address. There's other more pressing things I think that they need to take care of. Religion, for example, I would love to see a religion overhaul for the game, different things of that nature. Balancing out events. I think the events are awesome in this game, but I think events in the later game in particular need to be rebalanced. At least the choices need to be more meaningful, right? The fact that I have to pay 1,000 gold at this point in the game for something, right, just doesn't matter because I'm making 21,000. So I think that little balance things, rewards and costs for events and things could play out a little bit better, but all of those things are things we've talked about before. Today, let's jump in and see how far we can get in the contemporary era. Right now, we are teched straight to rocket science, which gets us access to our space station, which gets us access to our end game condition. We'll also need to come down here and grab uranium over here, so we can grab uranium on the map. And we'll also have to get, obviously, our uranium extractors in and our aluminum extractors in as we get those technologies online as well, because we'll need those in order to build our space station projects for our end game condition. In the meantime, I want to make sure that we're taking the Commons Quarter strategy to its absolute end. And there are a couple different things to think about with that. Number one is we do have some civics that we could possibly enact. So if we come over here, I think specifically to artistic ownership is a civic we have not enacted yet. And this one, if we go to, I believe it is the Artist's Studio, which is an infrastructure I believe that we can build. +1 influence on Commons Quarters per adjacent district. So this is a Commons Quarter boost. We obviously want to take that. The other side is the Academy of Arts, which is +1 influence on research quarters. We don't have very many research quarters. So I would like to enact independent artists. And then we could also be building in some of these artist studios in our cities in order to push further our Commons Quarter benefits. Which
I suppose the act of
so
creation
let's grab
is
that.
itself a bit anarchic. Why not
Now,
take that to its logical conclusion?
Now, there are other pieces of the puzzle that we can kind of jump in on. Industrial production gets us farmer slots per farmer's quarter, or we can get traders per market quarter. Neither of these is particularly important to me. The slots, I think, is what I want, and I feel like farmer slots are going to serve us better than a market slot at this point. We've been kind of pushing towards this like extra money side of the tree. I don't think we need extra money anymore ever since we took the Indians. So I'm actually interested possibly in switching at this late point in the game over to the economic, the collectivism side of the tree, which increases our production, which I think would be beneficial. So I'm actually going to make the choice to do farmers because food is probably better. And right now, production is probably better for us than money, I would think. So let's enact nationalized
National
industries.
control of vital products and resources, paradoxically, could provide more freedom and autonomy.
Good. The other one that I want to take a look at here is children's rights, which we have not enacted yet. And this gives us either child education, +1 research slot on city per research quarter, or +1 worker slot on outpost per maker's quarter. Now, you can see this actually drops us out of the science side of the tree, so we're not going to do this, despite the fact that it would get us additional production. Research also is our end game condition, essentially. The faster we research, the faster we can get to end game, although research and production go hand in hand for the space race end game condition, essentially. But I think we're going to take this one so that we stay on the high side of the science piece. So let's enact child
The
education.
long-term strategy seems to
And
be
the rest
smarter
of these we actually
if it's
don't
built on
currently
lifting
need.
everyone up.
None of the rest of them are particularly important. I've also looked through a lot of the different civics just to double check if there are any other ones that will benefit us. This tree actually is beneficial. We could get +5 stability on Commons Quarters if we go in either of these directions. The problem I have with this particular civic, and it was actually a civic that somebody brought up in the comments very early in the game, and really you have to do this very like as the game starts. You have, in order to unlock this tree, you have to have a city with a city watch in it. So you got to build a city watch, which I typically don't do. And your empire's stability has to be unstable. Your entire empire has to be unstable, which is, I think, below 30%. I never let my empire get below 30%, and there's no way we could even attempt to do that now, where our stability is off the absolute charts. So there's just no way for us to unlock this, and I don't like that there is a pathed out civics tree that is locked behind your empire being unstable. I know there's logic behind it in the types of things that you unlock. Makes sense, but it feels a little bit like maybe like if a city reaches instability or something like that, that would maybe enhance this a little bit and allow us to just play the game a little bit differently. But either way, we're not going to really go in that direction. We do eventually want to unenact political influence and go down this side of the tree to get to this, the +1 science on Commons Quarter, +1 money on Commons Quarter. Again, this seems very similar to this one, but this Democratic Republic is not tied to this tree. It seems like it's supposed to be the opposite of this, like the opposing like force here if you go down this tree, but it doesn't appear to function that way. So if we unenact this and go back down this side of the tree, we should be able to get not only the +1 science and +1 money on Commons Quarter from here, but also the same thing from here, I think. We're going to find out if that's true anyway later on in this episode or in the game. The thing is, I think I need to get my Teatros in the capital built before we do that, because otherwise we're going to get a 20% boost in their cost. It's going to take absolutely forever to get them in. So I think we're waiting until the Teatros are in, essentially, to get that done. There are some interesting things going on in the Congress right now. If we jump over to the international crisis side of things, Gaiden is actually demanding 2 different territories from Icarus, who's demanding 1. So they're basically like crisscrossing and demanding different territories from each other. I'm not sure who we should support. Right now, Icarus basically has the world's support. We have 3 turns to make a choice on this, and I may just let it play out without impacting the decision possibly. But let's check on where these particular places are. They're going to be over here on this continent. Let's see if we can figure out which ones they are. It's very difficult because they're named based on territory and not by the city they're in. Although it looks like this city is the one that's being claimed. Probably in this. It's probably all right in here that's being argued over. So I don't know. Both of those seem interesting as far as decisions are concerned. If we look at like where they stand, Icarus and Gaiden are both 5th and 6th, so it doesn't really impact it either way. The other thing that I was finally thinking about is, look, it does not appear that Plosif wants this territory. Look at this. Look at this land. Everything is claimed up. There's like one. I don't even know if there's not. There's literally like no pieces of land unclaimed. Just this one. That literally has been on the map unclaimed since the beginning of time. I mean, that's true of any different territory, but we have had borders touching this since, like, the ancient era. And neither Plosif or I have claimed it. Like, Plosif's got troops there right now that he could claim this with, and he continues to choose not to claim it. At some point, probably today, during this episode, I'm just going to go claim this, if Plosif doesn't do it. So we'll see. I also do not like Plosif's forces that appear to be massing along our border here. He also has troops running around over here in the New World. Like, he's got 7-stack armies sitting just outside of my cities. Now, we are currently still allied, but that could change very rapidly. And so we may need to keep... we have a ton of money right now. And so we may need to just keep a ton of money in the bank on the off chance that Plosif does decide that it is war that is needed. And then we can build up an army really quickly. The thing is, Plosif is so far behind us in technologies that even the armies that he's amassing would be absolutely wiped off the planet, even by defenders in my cities. So the problem would be, of course, that my cities would be under attack. They wouldn't be able to produce things, and stuff could get burnt down, potentially, if they start to pillage something. So we want to have some forces in reserve, potentially, to be able to deal with that. And right now, the forces that are in reserve are basically in the form of money that we could just train them with, right? So... all right, let's hit end turn. We'll continue progressing through some turns here and see how things continue to go. Roma, gaining population. Aerial warfare has been researched. That unlocks aluminum for us, and a diplomat star has been earned. Okay, we have some urgent affairs that require my attention. Oh, interesting. Cradle of Humankind 2. Archaeological dig near Ashur has yielded a breathtaking find. The remarkably well-preserved remains of a distant and hitherto unknown ancestor to humanity, of which can provide long elusive answers to the riddle of evolution. Interest in the unprecedented discovery is sky high across the world, but its fate is in your hands. The millennia-old body could lead to enlightenment or profit, or perhaps it might be a means to cement your rule. The question is, how can humanity's past best serve your own future? We can gain 50 fame. That is... it is very difficult. When fame is offered as a reward, which is very, very rare, it is very difficult not to take the fame. 50 fame is quite a substantial chunk of fame, actually, when you think about it in the long run of the game. 50 fame is a pretty decent reward. We can also take plus 30 money and push us back the other direction on this tree. It also is not moving us too far in any of the axes. We can also examine it and get science. Now, the science one is tempting, and we definitely don't need the fame. In a normal game, I'm probably taking exploit, even though it moves us back a little bit on the science side of this axis. I would probably take the fame. We don't need the fame, so I think we're just going to examine to push our science a little bit higher. But I love it that fame is a result of these sometimes. We have a second one. The Belching Towers. Your prolific industries are a source of great pride in your cities. The fruits of the labors bring many delights and improvements to people across your land. However, the advent of factories, though they can be great temples of production, has now cast a smoggy shadow. Are humans to be seen as cogs in the vast economic machine? And so now we have access to working conditions. Show the details here. +1 stability on Maker's Quarter also pushes us all the way over here into workers' rights. It increases our production by 10%, which is not bad. Or we could go in the opposite direction, +5 money on Maker's Quarters. And so we can get extra money on our Maker's Quarters, which actually makes Maker's Quarters pretty handy. And we also get minus 50% delay between 2 crisis independent people spawn on the city or outpost, which is interesting. It's a very unique kind of piece of the puzzle here. Minus 50% delay between 2 crisis independent people spawn on city or outpost. So basically what they're saying is by not having a workers' rights focused working conditions, you actually are going to increase the number of independent people that spawn. You're actually going to, that rate is decreased by half. So you're going to be spawning those twice as frequently almost, or something like that. Maybe it's 50% more frequently, essentially, because that spawn is going to happen more, right, out of your places. I'm actually apt to take this. I know we don't need the stability, and the money would be more useful to us, but we're not going to get much stability out of this or much money out of this. And actually, this 10% bonus to industry right now feels like it would be really handy to our industry and our cities. So I'm going to go with workers'
It's good
rights
to remember
on this one.
occasionally that those numbers on spreadsheets are living, breathing humans.
Also, makes
Unfortunately,
sense.
this time you are merely a bystander to someone else's glory.
I am. Oh, chat, look, 5 turns on Sydney Opera House. How did that go so fast? Which cities do we have building that? Oh, I have 10 cities participating in that construction. Never mind. Oh yeah, we set that at the very end because all of our ashrams went in, and so we were able to do that, right? I recall that now. Yes. All right. All of our cities are cranking away. I believe we can end turn. We might want to check treaties.
You are a sight for sore eyes, my friend.
Okay. Treaties checked. Leverage collected. We're ready to go. Look at all the free people still. It's crazy how many free peoples are still on this land. And it doesn't look like any of them are... Like, none of them belong to anyone, you know? Like, no, there's no patronage of this one. Nobody's even investing in these. Not even the computer has decided to invest in any of these. Oh, 85 patronage from all empires. Okay, so hold on. 0. So there is some there. 111. So some of them have, but a lot of them don't. Kind of interesting. 0 patronage on that one. Wow. So not a lot of people going for the patronage of the free peoples, which is something we've talked about. Like, it just doesn't feel very useful anymore unless you're building a strategy around that and going with the Singaporeans at the end of the game, which I really do want to try. I'm torn because we'll talk about it at the end of this episode a little bit. We'll introduce the topic of kind of future for this, for what kind of content we're going to be producing on the channel here after this series. But a one city challenge in this game seems like it would be really fun. But I'm talking about a true one city challenge where I never hold more than one city. And not that I combine them, that I attempt to beat the game in just one city. I'm not actually sure it's possible because I think you'd fall so far behind early game that I'm not sure how well it would work. Well, I don't know. We'll have to. I'll see if that's a possibility. If any of you have ideas about that and whether it can be done in that way. I know, like, one city challenge where by the end you're all one city, like, that's totally doable. But a one city challenge where you only ever have the one city, that would be, I think, an interesting, legitimate challenge. But anyway, let's continue on. Dinner was gaining pop. Radar has been researched. A merchant star has been gained. We already have a merchant star, which, again, that's just the power of the Indian culture and their cultural trait is absolutely crazy. We just won an ambush, apparently. Plosif has now pulled all of his units outside of my borders, which is arguably a possible telltale sign of a war, a possible war declaration. And actually, it looks like we're still allied, but like you can see, all of his units are pulling outside of my land. And basically, I feel very inclined to believe that Plosif, knowing Plosif's AI persona, this would not surprise me if we ended up in a war scenario. Okay. Let's see how that plays out as we go throughout these turns. It would not, if you've watched any of our other Let's Play series with the Plosif's AI in the game, it would not surprise you to see him declare war, I am certain. All right. Bahama has finished. Bahama was building some hamlets. So all ashrams are in. All hamlets are in. And we could put turns into Sydney Opera House, I think, now at this point. Or we could take a quick look at... we'll probably look at infrastructures next. Let's just get Sydney Opera House in. As long as all ashrams and all hamlets are in, then we switch. Okay, so we have... Mumbai obviously does not have any of their hamlets in. They don't need hamlets, but I do feel like we should put the hamlets in first. They're going to be hugely beneficial. We're going to be able to exploit a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to put all the hamlets in their proposed best locations. Now that all the ashrams are also in. The ashrams have already taken up like the best spots for this. We're going to take up like the second best spots with all of the hamlets. There you go. That'll get us all of our hamlets in. That's going to take actually quite some time for them to do that. So we'll let them get their hamlets in, and then they'll be able to start doing things with like commons quarters. Actually, probably should put the commons quarter in first, eh? Where is our capital? So here's Mumbai. Here is a farmer's quarter. Here is a train station. And I feel like let's put a commons quarter. Oh man, let's see. Maybe right here. Because here's an ashram. An ashram is not going to benefit from being next to a commons quarter. So we almost want the commons quarter to be like off here a little bit. Maybe like here for the commons quarter. And let's build that first just to get it in. So that we have a commons quarter in the city. Because we don't have a commons quarter here currently. We are generating some amount of pollution. We're at low pollution actually. We're at very low pollution. Which doesn't actually impact your city, I don't think at all. That's another end game condition I've never done that I'd love to pursue at some point. Is the pollution end game where we actually pollute so much that the world essentially ends and the game concludes in a pollution state. I've never done that before. So I think that would be kind of a fun possible way to play the game. So let's just set them doing this. I think that's fine. I'll take Mumbai through a bunch of turns. Again, all ashrams are in. All hamlets are in. So let's go. We'll go turns on Sydney Opera House for now. Dreaded judgment. Living in a democracy, it is critically important that the people have faith in the judiciary, with legal judgments having impacts on all areas of life, from commerce to personal rights. Now is the time to decide how the justice system will be monitored. Also, we're running into some options here. Judicial control. Where is this one on the tree? Oh, up here. Oh, wait, how? Enact the choice republic in the political entitlement civic. We don't even have the political entitlement civic. How did we get this unlocked? There must be an alternate way to unlock this? Fascinating. There must be a secondary way to unlock this that you don't have to be in that tree for. Interesting to me. Let's see. The public body should be scrutinized and reported on every aspect of the justice system. This is People's Assembly. +3 stability on district. My gosh, could we get our stability very high if we put a bunch of those in. We're going to get the secret police on garrison, +1 detection, +5 stability. We don't have any garrisons really, so we wouldn't really go with the secret police side of things. This actually pushes us all the way on the industry side of things, which I'm not opposed to just driving in that direction. Why not? We have the ability to do it, so we'll just press the button.
Doesn't mean that they won't try it anyway.
All right, we'll press the button. I think we're ready to go. Do we have the ability to do this? I'm going to cultural blitz just for the fun of it. I believe our best cultural blitz is still going to be right here. Done, did it. Cultural blitzed. Forgot that we're still playing at a steep culture, which is kind of fun. Okay, I think we are ready to rock and roll all the way to the next turn.
18 agrarian stars. Whatever else happens to the planet, at least we'll eat well.
Estate stars as well. Population gain in 4 different cities. Stealth activity detected. Trade is being poached still. Where is it being poached at? All right, Habana has finished its construction. It was actually building a research quarter, which is kind of funny. Habana could actually build hamlets. So let's get hamlets. Make sure we get them in. These are not like particularly great hamlets. These are specifically for the purpose of... And I don't really want a hamlet there. I'd love to have a hamlet out here. So let's hamlet right there. And we will hamlet again here. And this is a ashram. Ashrams do not benefit from adjacency bonuses. We don't really have to put anything next to it. Our hamlets also don't benefit from anything, but I think we want a hamlet for purposes. So if we stick it out here, that allows us to get some adjacency maybe over here. So I like it maybe on the corner. So let's do that. Okay, that gets all of their hamlets in. We end turn again, and this time we're gonna have a lot of work to do. Rocket science has been researched, so we actually, wow, that's so fast. We just got to rocket science already, so our projects are ready to be done. We could actually beeline endgame and close this thing out very quickly. We have a new wonder that we can claim.
The curves of this glorious
Opera House
are even more impressive when you consider the fact that the plans were rescued from the trash can.
There you go. Little factoid about Sydney Opera House. Okay, so let's go check out our lovely build. Here we are, completing our capital full of wonders. Here is Sydney Opera House, right next to the Statue of Liberty, sitting in the shadow of the Palace of Versailles, the Santa Maria del Fiore. Go further, you can get to the Pyramid of the Sun, the Eiffel Tower. It is a plethora of wonders in the capital. That doesn't even count the ones that aren't in the main city center. Unbelievable. How are we doing on these Teatros? 17 turns still to get all these Teatros in. Fine. Right. We can also get Space Station out. We could start pressing Endgame as soon as possible. I mean, I'm not opposed to this. We also need to buy out. I'm going to go through. We're going to buy out all aluminum. We're going to buy out. Basically, it's just going to be aluminum in each city, right? So let's go through each city really quick. We're just going to buy out aluminum. If a city has aluminum, we'll purchase it in to get our aluminum online. We're going to do the same thing with uranium when we get there. Do a quick check through each of our cities. We actually already have plenty of aluminum on just those two cities there. I don't think we're going to have a problem with aluminum in this particular case. Excellent. So we're building Teatros in several cities. Now that the wonder is in, we could go check if we want to claim another wonder. There are plenty of other wonders to potentially grab. Christ Redeemer, again, is going to get us on all cities 10% food, money, and industry. That's really nice. We also get a whole bunch of science if we decide to go the route of the Marquis. Big Ben is still available down in the era below this, which again is a huge bonus to science. We don't really need science anymore at this point. Christ Redeemer actually feels like it would be an interesting build for us, though, so I'm going to claim it, and I think we're going to build it right away, just for the sake of the beauty, right? So we have, I believe there are certain requirements for Risto. Let's check what the requirements are. All right, I think we're going to go right here, overlooking the capital city, right? That has to be the play. Has to be the play. Now, it does exploit things, so we technically would want to maybe put it up here for the exploit factor, but we're not because that's too far away. I love it right here. And so that is what we're going to do. So all of our cities will build that currently. We should be able to get that in a relatively short period of time. We can get all of our cities on it. And then we can switch to like our projects and things like that. We actually need to make sure we have spots for our projects, like the space station. There's a lot of spots, like space needed for those. We'll have to kind of check on those here in a little bit. All right, for our technology panel, now that we're all the way through rocket science, we want to come back down and make sure we have everything we need to be able to finish some of those projects. The first thing of which is uranium. Actually, the only thing of which is uranium. So once you've researched uranium enrichment and rocket science, you actually have everything you need, potentially, to finish up the game, to get to that end game condition. There are several things that we will want to kind of progress towards in the tech tree, and so we'll try to get to those before we run endgame. But man, we could finish this game very, very quickly here. What turn are we on? 152? This might be the fastest game. It might be the fastest game that I've ever played. I'm not sure, but it could be. All right, let's end turn. We'll get everyone still cranking on different things. Multiple growths. Kindness now a thief. I don't like that. Sessions are ending their votes. Grievances are being generated. Intel is being collected. Oh, Plosiv's attitude towards me improved to hesitant. That's positive. So I thought the opposite of that was about to happen, but perhaps not. Great apes in the fog. Despite our great efforts to provide a safe home to endangered species in the wilds around Mumbai, poachers have been undeterred. Countless rare animals have been hunted and harvested for pelts, tusks, and trophies. Their decline is thus tragically unslowed. The poachers themselves are merely the thin edge of the wedge, of course. It is the market demand for the produce made by the exotic creatures that drives this wanton slaughter. We must decide which link in this bloody chain to shatter first. We can prosecute mass crackdown, raiding markets, factories, and harbors, and to unearth and arrest the poachers and exporters. Disruptive, but effective. Disrupts our industry. Does push us down, keeps us on the science tree. We can recruit. Many Mumbai will gladly have volunteer guards to build defenses or keep the hated poachers out, though it will impact labor. So again, minus 30 food, also minus 30 on other things. So not a lot of positives here. We can regulate, which keeps us where we are. Target the customers at home and abroad. Many palms will need greasing to bring such rules about, but we will be respected for it. So we get 1,000 influence, which is not super useful, and we lose 30 money per turn. I actually like this idea. This loses us production, which I'm not a fan of. This keeps us where we want to be on our geopolitical axis, gains us something completely useless to us, but losing money right now is not great. I don't want to lose. Production is worse to lose. This minus food is gonna, like a bad thing for us for sure, so I think regulate is a good option for us here. So we're gonna go with that. A fight. Wow. This time he's actually taking my guys are just, I can't retreat. We're being ambushed. They're gonna try to kill a promoted envoy. Hey, Explosive, what is this? This is in, oh, it's not in my land. Oh, we're in his city. Oh. Man.
Nope.
I don't think he's gonna live. I don't think there's any way he can live. They have to take my flag, right? Take it! Go take the flag! Can I run? I just want to run. Get back out of the fight any further. I'm at the far ends of the battle. Take the flag! Oh, hey! Nice! We won because they didn't come and fight us. That's rare. That is rare, but we're still alive. Still alive after an ambush, and we generated a bunch of grievances that we might be able to collect as well. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Okay. In turn.
You have unlocked the Research Institute. It will not merely provide additional answers, but open up a whole range of ever more perplexing questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Narrator. That is worth 100 fame. It's just straight up 100 fame just for researching that tech, which is kind of nice. Something to keep in mind if you're like looking for catch-up mechanics, the final era. There's just straight up fame just sitting on the tech tree that you can get access to. Being attacked again. What is this? Oh, these are... No. The free peoples are attacking me over here, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay. Wow. A lot of resources being sold. And a massive exchange of goods is currently happening. Nobody moved up, but somebody must have gotten access to something and just started purchasing everything. It's kind of wild. Okay. We can check our trade, actually, just to make sure. The buy all button hasn't appeared. Hey, we get some more horses. Always about more horses. That equates to food. That's food. Direct access to food. 1 turn until Cristo. Uranium enrichment has been researched, so to go through and put in all uranium. A new wonder can be claimed.
Impressive and dominating. Cristo Redenta removes any confusion about the importance of faith in everyday life.
Merchant Star unlocked again. We're just ripping through Merchant Stars at this point. Crazy how much that's changed. We didn't get like almost any Merchant Stars throughout the entire game. Now Phlos is known as a merchant. So we went from thief to merchant right away. Do we claim another wonder? Do we need another wonder? Like the idea of building this just because I think it's really pretty. This also has to be placed on a mountain. We could put it next. We could have a religious and a science, like, focused building just right next to each other on the same mountain. We do it. Empire State Building is also good. We talk about money. We get a bunch of money. You know what? Screw it. We're just going to build everything. We're going to build it all. We can barely even claim these anymore at this point. Let's do this one first with the Empire State Building afterward. Actually, we should do Empire State Building first, but fine. Claim it, build it. we're actually not accomplishing the goals that I had set out for this particular episode. Because I was hoping to start building commons quarters again, but I don't think we're gonna do that. Madrid has put in all of its pieces of the puzzle. All right, we're gonna put this in, but yes, we are gonna put it in our capital. We can't. Where does it have to go? What are the requirements? Does it have to be a coastal? What did I miss? All neighboring district cannot be a regular district. Oh. Has to be kind of by itself. Must be placed on a mount. Oh, so it's got to be a mountain and it's got to be away from everything. That makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense, and I love it. Now, that probably means we can't put it... Oh, we can't put it here because this counts as a regular district, eh? So there's no other mountains in our capital. So my plan to make the capital continuously beautiful has faltered. Oh wait, what about this? No, that's got adjacent districts as well, right? Alright, let's see. Let's see if we even have a spot to put this. That would be hilarious if we don't even have a place to put it. Oh, here we go. Way up here. 445 sites. It's not actually as high as I thought it would be. We could put it over here as well. Those are one of them's in Gothiscanza, one of them's not. I think we stick with Gothiscanza, maybe. These have adjacencies. Okay, let's put it up here. That'll look cool, I think. Right up there. All right, so we'll get that built. I think we're just building wonders at this point, you know. Like that's just our thing. It's just what we're doing. Become a wonder building people. We could be progressing to our end game condition right now, and here we are building wonders. Okay. So now we get to pick a tech. So our technologies are here. +1 money on naval trade on all cities. That's actually pretty big. I would probably go with that. The other thing that we want to look at is buying resources doesn't matter to us. Aluminum smelting is not bad. We could, like, +1 science on regular district would absolutely spike science for us with computing again. Over here, gets us some extra stability, which we don't really need, access to some other things. We could also throw in some of these like big machinery types of things. We could also progress towards things like communication satellites to get our geosynchronous satellites out there. Those are always useful. We can get, stability again, not necessary for us. And probably what we should think about is like, how do we get to some of these? +1 influence on commons quarter. This is the one, I think. This is the one we need to tech to. So after we do a couple of those early ones, I think we'll tech straight to World Wide Web, because I think that's the only other one that affects commons quarters. Obviously, +3 city cap would be really helpful to us, right? So we can look at some of these other ones. For primarily, that's going to be the one that benefits us. 50% influence on main plaza is okay. Like, that's fine. The World Wide Web and Space Orbital are probably the two techs we want to get to if we want to, like, push something specifically. To try to get our commons quarters like more boosted, right? Actually, high density habitation is huge as well. +4 on all slots. That may actually be the next thing we tech to try to solve some of our problems. Social housing might be the next thing we go to. We have to go through a bunch of different pieces to get there. Just these actually to get there, and then after that, I think we tech through some of our ones that benefit the commons quarter. So let's do that. That'll be the plan. Quick research on that, and then we'll switch over to some of the stuff that's going to benefit our commons quarters. We're being ambushed by Icarus now. In his land. Why? Why would you? We are good friends, sir. Where can I go? Where can I go to hide out so I don't die? I don't think there's anywhere I could probably go. Take the flag, please. Just walk over there and take the flag. Oh, actually, okay. I actually didn't want to fight. Again, the ambush mechanic needs work. Just obnoxious, in my opinion. All right. We should be able to just end turn here, right? We're just kind of cranking at this point. All of our places. Once the Teatros are done and we're done building wonders, we'll have some other things that I want to do. Although we could just progress. We could just progress our. I think I want to do Empire State Building. I'm gonna call it on wonders. Like we're not gonna do more than that. I don't think. That's too many. Just too many at that point, you know. Grievances everywhere. Another agreement proposal from Burley. That's not particularly surprising.
Come,
He's going to want cultural
let us
Tunde
discuss
again.
our dreams.
No,
There's just
sir,
no way to make this work. I
sir,
do
we
not
can't
accept.
do that. Should we check crises really quick? Let's go
Bothersome.
to the
It is
end and we'll just check.
Any
just
day
check
we
crises.
speak is a good day.
It would be better.
All right, Roma. Wait, oh, you can put turns into this. What was Roma building? I don't even recall. Oh, we get our uranium in. Let's buy out our uranium. All uranium should be bought in.
I just think of you as one of those characters that enjoys collecting things. Stamps, coins, resources, power.
Power for sure in this game, though. All right, let's walk through. Roma was our when we checked, so let's just make sure we have no uranium in any of our other cities. Here is uranium. Oh yeah, uranium in the middle of our city. We're gonna mine uranium in the middle of the city. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. We don't talk about it. We just don't talk about the fact that we're mining uranium in the middle of our city. It's safe. We do it in a safe way. No more uranium. Oh, we started in... Did we start in Madrid? Or Roma? We started in Roma. Okay, so I think all our uranium is... We don't have a ton of uranium. 4 uranium? Is that enough? Is that enough to do what we need to do? Might be. I guess we'll have to find out. We're doing this again. And we're getting... 3 peoples around here are getting kind of crazy. Alright, I believe we can end turn. Sources have been sold again. Plosive claim. Oh, thank goodness. Plosive. Thank you. We're finally... Wow, that's a cool... What is he playing as right now? The Ethiopians? That is a cool administrative center. I like that. That's very cool. Love the look of it. I like the ambiance. What are we sitting over top of? I like modern construction. That's cool. Anyway. Finally, Plosive claims the land that we left for him eons ago. Actually, there are these 2 free peoples just disappeared, and this island still has never been claimed. This has been a free island for a long time. All right. Naval air strategy has been researched. That should pump our gold up even further. We've got another estate star. Grievances beyond belief. Actually, we'll take a quick look here at why we're generating so many grievances. There's the diplomat star as our diplomats move around the map, collecting things. Let's take a look at a couple of different things here. We'll pick our tech really quick because we want to go to social housing. We'll jump into social housing really quick, and then we'll push some of those other techs. But let's take a quick look at why we're generating so many grievances on a regular basis. Number 1, religion. The religion of common madness has spread to every place but Nox's land. Nox's religion and Icarus's religion just barely holding on. Every single other place is following common madness. We have taken over the globe. Very close here to taking over all of it. The other reason is, if you look at our cultural influence, once again, just the last bit of holding out. We have Nox's territories and just a couple of Icarus's territories down here. Every other place is under our cultural sway. We have dominated this game in every way, shape, or form. And so that is the result of that. Again, making the Indians a critically good play here at the end, specifically for the Commons Quarter, but also just in general as well. So all of that is just looks really nice for us, right? All right, I think we just crank, right? Keep moving turns. Got access to hydroelectric dams now as well, which can be very useful. Not that we're building anything but wonders currently, and I think we're going to build another one. I just ended turn. I just didn't even think about it, Chad. We just ended turn without even thinking about it. Intelligence collected. All we're doing is building wonders and Teatros, apparently. I think we may have just caused the game some conundrums because we ended turn before the turn had actually processed. So let's give the game a second. I think it's got to catch up. There's a merchant star. Oh, we were going to check stars. Now we got another merchant. I think that's our 3rd merchant star. I've seen all 3 of those pop up. We have more influence. 24.6 thousand influence. And we have 16 stars already. If we check out our stars, we are already estate stars. Completely done. Merchant stars, completely done. Agrarian stars, completely done. Builder stars, completely done. We are very close or approaching diplomatic stars. Expansion stars, we need 2 more territories just to get the second stars. This is not going to happen. We don't have the expansion. Although we could have with those, the couple of territories that have opened up. Science stars, we do not even have a single science star, and yet we have capitalized on every other major source of stars from this era for us. That is crazy that we are generating food, money, influence, and production at a rate that is faster than our science, and yet we've gotten to the science text that we wanted faster than I even intended to. I mean, our empire, I'm literally almost at a lack for describing how effective our empire is running based on the fact that these commons quarter buildings just do not seem to be making that big of an impact on the game, and maybe we're just wrong. My inclination is that the commons quarter strategy is still not great. And I think it's the wonders that are powering us now. Like, we're just powered upon powered. I can only imagine if you would play this start and not utilize a commons quarter strategy and instead go with a completely different strat, how powerful is this particular start? Is that just what we're looking at here? It's really interesting to consider as we start thinking about things. How many Teatros do we have left before we can switch to the Civic? My gosh, it still says 10 turns where we have our Teatros in. Should we buy some of them? 10k to purchase 10k. I guess that, you know what? It doesn't really matter, does it? You just buy them in. 10k, 25k, 20k. There. The Teatros are in, chat. It's done. We did it. Now we come over here to our civics and we're going to test. We're going to test a thing because I want to get here. So we're going to come over here. We're going to... Oh, sorry. We have to... We cancel this one first because we're not building emblematic districts anymore. Every single emblematic is in. We cancel aristocracy. We then come down here and we cancel autotarch. We put small
Most
council
problems
back in.
eventually yield
We come over
to the
here,
onslaught of more brains.
and we have to do a particular... Which one do we have to do? We have to choose Republic in this one, which is fine. I mean, it's not great, but keeps us where we want to be. So we enact Republic.
How far can you trust a leader whose primary concern is their family, not their people?
So we can't unlock this because we already have this enacted. It doesn't state that. So enact the choice Republic in the political entitlement civic. Have at least 50 population in your empire. Have research, centralized power technology, and be in the industrial area above. All of those things are true, and yet we cannot enact this currently. Probably because this is already enacted. However, there doesn't seem to be any connection between these two things whatsoever. So I'm really intrigued as to why that's the case or how it functions that way. Maybe on the next turn, this unlocks possibly. It could be one of those things that like has to proc because it has to like run a check on all these things during like turnover. So we'll see if that's the case. That'll be interesting to note. Okay. Let's see. Sure. What's up? You are not going to buy out anything, but you don't need to put turns into this. So here's the thing. You really desperately need, I mean, infrastructures. I mean, that you need everything, but I really want to put in your hamlets probably. But those are going to take 6 turns to build. So that doesn't seem like a viable strat. 102 science if we put in a cabinet of curiosities. 103 influence if we put in an art. Oh my gosh. Artist studio done. People's Assembly, 234 stability. I'm not, that one feels... Look, we can get 18 stability if we have an apothecary. We don't even have a public fountain in... We don't even have a public fountain in this city. Oh, no. Oh, that is... You know what? You know what? No. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're just going to max out. Get 187 money if we do this one. 90 industry. Maybe we should do the industry ones first, eh? Which ones provide us with the most? The +1 pollution if we just put a sawmill. Sawmill. Get me... hydroelectric dam takes 5 turns. We'll hold on that. Seafood wholesalers gets us 785 money. Let's build in some infrastructures. You know what? You know what? No. I take that back. And we're gonna buy those out. We'll build these ones. I'm gonna buy those ones. I don't know. Why are we not? We just spend our money. Plosive is no longer threatening us. We spend our money. Wind in your sails. Though no one has yet seen it with their own eyes, tales of the monarch out of the Nox, fearsome armada are beginning to rattle your sailors. According to some, every fresh recruit, down to the lowliest deckhand, is a cold-blooded killer. Others say the ships have grown to astonishing size, holding dozens of cannons and crews of many hundreds. Maintain your reputation as a serious power. These worries must be quieted. How will you bolster your Emperor's confidence? Well, what we would do is put an aircraft carrier into the water and then see if these sailed ships scare us. That's what we would do. Once again, events might need a little bit of work in the... let's see. We can... none of this stuff really matters, right? We'll just do we'll just invest, right? We're gonna invest in our boats and then not build any. I don't know what. All right, here we go. A couple more turns here, and then we'll call it an episode. Next week, we'll probably jump into building our final project. Might even be the last episode. Just depends on how fast we go. I do want to kind of dink around a little bit with the idea of putting in some more commons.
A wondrous work
really
indeed.
That.
No doubt, the neighbors are eyeing you with a great deal of jealousy.
Probably. Okay. All right, all of our cities are idle, except for that won't be true for very much longer because we are going to... Big Ben was finally claimed. We still have the... this counts as a commons quarter. We could put this in, just for the fun of it. One neighboring district must be a main plaza. Oh, that's actually kind of tough for me. We're going to put in the Empire State Building. We could go anywhere, right? So, let's maximize our money. Who wants to build the Empire State Building? Oh, the whole entire empire does? Perfect. I'd love for you to do that. All right, where are we putting this? Where are we putting it? It doesn't exploit anything, right? Like, there's no... What does the game say is, like, the best location for it? Does it have a preference? I bet you it doesn't.
You do not merely impress your allies and opponents. You tower above them. The mark you leave upon the world
there's market
will be remembered
here, that's why,
for
right?
all posterity.
It has market quarter adjacency. I feel like we put it right down here. Where should the spot for the Empire State Building? Put it next to Cristo. I mean, you could go up there. You could also go down here. I feel like right here is like a pretty sick spot. Like right adjacent to this. We put another market quarter here. Let's do it. I'm going to put it right here. That's the spot. Everybody build me this Empire State Building so that we can be considered the greatest in all the land. Just to put any qualms at, like, we want to make sure that everybody understands how great we are. All right, let's put our tech in. Let's see. What does this get us? Stability on city. We don't... Suburbs is not, like, particularly important for us. I do think that we should probably just go all the way... Telecommunication satellites would be nice. Possibly. But I don't think we even need it, you know? I like the idea of 50% money on all cities. We just start buying everything in. This also gets us there, right? So let's go World Wide Web into Space Orbital. And then we can kind of just research whatever, I think, because we're so far behind on any sorts of buildings. We're just going to try to buff up our commons quarters, basically. Again, in the next episode, we can easily beeline the end game and just win and just end it. So I'll have to debate kind of how far do I want to push the commons quarter strat in this particular instance, because we've won the game, right? So how much do we want to push this? I'm not sure. We'll see how far I feel like kind of pushing some of the little nitty-gritty details here. I don't want to like extend the game too far. So next episode very well could be our last, or we'll go 2 more. It'll kind of depend on how I'm feeling about it. Very well could be that we just kind of beeline endgame conditions in the next episode. So we are absolutely cruising in this game. The whole strat has worked out in an interesting way. We can start to look at some of our commons quarters, right? Like here is... where do we have a regular commons quarter? I just want to see a regular commons quarter. There's one like here. Here it is. A regular, hard to find because I don't have very many of them. What does this commons quarter have? It's got, look at all of the bonuses on it. Let's just zoom in. Can we just like look at, like, baseline exploited terrain is 6 food, 3 industry, 1 money, 1 science, 15 stability, 7 influence. But then look at the effect on this building. We get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 food. We get another 1 industry, money, science. We get influence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 influence on top of the influence we were already generating. And then we get another 15 stability on top of the already 15 stability or something like that. Or is this all tallied for us already? No, it's not. Those effects are on top of the exploited terrain. Which, again, like, none of these numbers are particularly great. Like, I think that's what I'm saying is we have poured everything into making Commons Quarters excellent. And here's a Commons Quarter. It's still not amazing. Now, our emblematics are pretty ridiculously good. Like, if you look at the cathedrals, right? If we come down and look at the cathedrals, because they are Commons Quarter and religious districts, like now you're talking about some insane numbers, right? 120 faith being generated out of this Cathedral Gotica, and then everything else on top of that from the religious and commons. I mean, it is effective in that way. The emblematics are effective. The regular Commons Quarter still continues to be, just in my mind, a bad district. It just, even when we have executed a Commons Quarter strategy, what appears to be a really great way, it still feels like it's not great. Now, let me know in the comments if you think differently, but I just am not seeing the value, even after we have a crushing win here that we're going to wrap up in the next couple episodes. It just still doesn't seem like it's very good. Thank you all so much for joining me for this episode. We'll be wrapping up this series shortly, and I do have an idea, and in fact, I know where the channel is going after this. And I know that this is going to be hard for some of you, and I apologize for that, but in order to continue growing the YouTube channel and continue to play games that I'm excited about, at the time when this episode comes out, I've been playing Aura History Untold for about a week. When I recorded this episode will come out in several weeks from now, and so we are going to switch to a Let's Play series of Aura History Untold on the YouTube channel after this. That's not to say that we won't come back to Humankind, but it will take an update. I've been playing Humankind for 3 years since it launched. Every week, on multiple days of the week, I've been playing Humankind. I put in a lot of hours to this game. I love this game. I'm very sad that I won't be playing it anymore. And again, it might make a comeback potentially, just seeing on how things go. And I know that Amplitude has been working on some stuff, and when they release what that is, if it piques my interest, I still have, I mentioned in this episode even, I still have games of Humankind that I would love to test. I'd love to try the Pollution End, the One City Challenge, different things like that. Maybe we could tackle 2 of those in one, possibly. So these are things that I would love to do, but I do think we need to move in a different direction for a little while. I'm very excited about Aura History Untold. I'm having a ton of fun playing it, and I can't wait to share it with you here on the YouTube channel as well. So stay tuned for the conclusion of this Humankind Commons Quarter strategy series, but we are going to be working towards some Aura Let's Play series. It'll be very, like, over-explained because it's going to be my first game playing on the YouTube channel, so I'm excited to share it with you. It's a very beautiful game. I'm excited to do that. So, if you like this content, thank you so much for being here. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're interested in seeing the end of this series, or if you're interested in checking out another 4X strategy game that just came out, Aura History Untold, which is we're going to jump into here in the next couple weeks after we get through this series. I'm really interested in seeing how this one ends, so I will see you next week. Thank you all for being here.